Yes, I would like to start very simple by just sitting quietly for a few minutes to create some space and to give you the opportunity to just connect with yourself, just being with yourself in a soft way, in a gentle way. And I think that's about the essence of the weekend. Compassionate presence. And we have to start with this moment. Yourself. And then we can discover how healing that is. So, a way to make that gesture of welcoming is to connect with your whole body. And if you like, you can close your eyes, if that feels comfortable. Otherwise, of course, there's no problem to keep the eyes open. And you don't need to try to calm down, or there's no need to call this meditation. Just let the body settle. And give yourself the permission to do nothing. Body, from the toes, the sole of your feet, up to the top of your head. Notice how the chair carries you. And let yourself be carried. Maybe you can notice that some of the tension you carry softens in your shoulders, in your belly. Of course, there are thoughts, maybe some restlessness or some tiredness. And what we explore is what happens if you let that be okay, if you just let that be. And then there's a breath coming and going. Don't need to concentrate, there's nothing to focus upon. But just acknowledging the breath as an expression of your life. I'm breathing, I'm alive. Right now there is nothing to think about, nothing to defend, nothing to figure out. So maybe you can allow your thoughts to kind of drift in the background. Just being yourself. without any pressure to be someone else, to feel something else. Compassionate presence. And even if your mind is somewhat agitated, we can start to appreciate the stillness and openness which arises when we sit together with others in the spirit of compassion. The whole body is breathing. Relaxing into that gesture of welcoming, allowing, letting be, befriending your own energy, just as it is. Can you notice that in this moment you have everything you need, so you can relax. There is actually nothing wrong with you. Breathing, welcoming whatever arises. Compassionate presence. So this weekend I want to make some advertising for kindness. And it is inspiring to sit here with the Dalai Lama in my bag, who is such an embodiment of that kindness. And these days it's also scientifically proven that it is healthy to be kind. It's coming. It has been mindfulness, now it's getting to become compassion. The benefits of compassion. And that is, it's so inspiring to acknowledge that we, all of us here, we have that longing in our heart for opening, for warmth, for kindness, to share that, to receive that, but also to give that. It makes you really proud to be a human being. There's a lot of things going on this planet where you become ashamed, but that's a part of which is really so beautiful in human beings. And everyone has it. Every baby being born carries that potential of warmth and the longing to connect and the longing to make a difference. And we all have it. So that's one of the things which can carry you to the very difficult periods in your life. To open your eyes and to see there's kind people, there's kindness around you. Even you might feel alone right now in your life, but there's kindness around you. There's kind mothers in your neighborhood, and there's people who care about you. At least one person cares about you. And it's just, isn't that beautiful, kindness, warmth, to feel that, when it happens from your side, like a genuine moment of warmth, a genuine moment of kindness, but also when you receive that, it's just like, it does not solve necessarily the problem, but it's so like, So in a way you can say that the Mahayana tradition is a science of kindness, a science of nurturing that seed in us. It's the ultimate medicine. It's actually what heals. When people think it's a medicine or it's a technique as a therapist, that's on the surface. What really transforms, what really heals is love, is kindness, is compassion. And it's something we can discover in our own heart. It's not something we need to look for somewhere else. It comes with a package. So this is this is the heart of the Tibetan tradition. And this weekend I would like to explore how we can nurture that in us. Not because we should, or because there's a reward in the end, but because we know this is the truth. This is what we want. This is like our mission, the mission in our life. And that is actually also what people ask themselves when they know that they're going to die. They ask themselves, did I love? Did I open my heart? Did I express who I am? Did I share my openness? Did I share who I am? So, those of you who have explored the Tibetan tradition, you know that there's a lot of methods and meditations to let that sun shine. But what I found, not only myself, but many other Buddhist Western teachers, is that for us there's one single, very important obstacle. It's like the main obstacle for us, the main hindrance to open our heart to others. And this obstacle, this main hindrance, which we discover as Western practitioner in the Mahayana tradition, this obstacle is self-hate. So that's why in this weekend I talk about compassion, but what I actually want to explore is this mental sickness, which most of us suffer from to different degrees, of self-hate, of unworthiness, of a sense that something is wrong with me. I'm not lovable as I am. What one Buddhist writer, Tara Brach, she calls it the trance of unworthiness. And it's a trance. It's a belief in an innate badness, or that something is screwed up in us, something is broken in us. So what I actually, as a ground, as a step for making your presence a contribution to a contribution to peace, as a step, is to look into the relationship you have with yourself. Meaning here, the relationship you have to your own feelings, the relationship you have to your body. So it's obvious the extent to how much we can open to another person depend on the extent how much we can be with ourselves. And looking into this initially can be quite painful to become aware of what we're doing, but it is necessary. It is really very sad to become aware of this. How we beat ourselves up. How we criticize ourselves. How we push ourselves. How we feel that it's not good enough. I'm not good enough. And we do it in sometimes very obvious way, like it becomes quite clear to us, but there's also very subtle ways, really subtle ways, where it's almost, it feels like it's an aspect of you who takes care of you, and which is good, but it isn't. And so we suffer from this mental disease in different degrees. So if you feel like, yeah, I'm actually quite okay with myself, then I think it's still good to explore this, because you can be sure that most of the people around you beating themselves up on a daily basis. And for some people it's really, many people, they wake up in the morning and there it is. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't feel this. So it's quite likely, if you have a difficult time right now, like you feel miserable, or it's quite likely that a big part of that, the big part of what you would call stress in your life, comes actually from self-judgment. Not to feel bad, that's normal. Bad days, good days, this comes and goes. What makes it a problem is the self-judgment. As if there's something wrong with feeling bad. There's nothing wrong with having a bad day or a bad period in your life. But what makes it stressful, what makes it hard, is that we put onto that the self-judgment. I shouldn't feel like that. It's wrong. I failed. I'm a failure. What I want to also look a little bit into tomorrow is, I mean not too much, but a little bit, where does that come from? And maybe you can have a sense that a lot of the things you say to yourself is actually something which was reflected back to you when you were a child. You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, how could you do this? Don't make such a face. I'm disappointed in you. And as children, we didn't have any choice. We believed it. We couldn't say, it's the parents who, I'm actually an angel and the parents are wrong. No. We concluded that something is wrong with me. So I need to work harder. And then Papa will love me. Yes, and then our school system and then our peers, they also play that game because they got it from their parents. So it's like our whole socialization in the West is about what is wrong with me. Yeah. What I remember from school is that something is wrong with me. I can't sing, I'm bad in sport, I can't speak English. So I needed like 20 years to prove my English teacher that I can speak English. Yeah. With the same as singing. I heard from my music teacher, just mouth the words. You are hopeless. Now I sit in front of 50 people and I still can't sing, in the sense I'm not a performer, but I lead like mantras and things like that. But that's what I remember. And it's still a wound I carry. And you have the same. It's really, I mean, it's fucked up, our school system. But we can change it. So that's the good news. So if I would now, talk about all this without having an alternative, without having something to work with this, that would be quite depressing. but it's a habit. So it's a habit. It has been a habit for many years. So it will take some time to change it, but it's possible. So we have been meditating now for, I don't know when it starts. I have not looked into it, but I don't know when we feel. Yeah, then children start to feel bad about themselves so late.
No.
Yeah, maybe earlier, I don't know. But when we started to think something is wrong with me, yeah? So quite early, I guess, I don't know. There's probably some signs there. So we have meditated on it. And that's what meditation is. Meditation is familiarizing yourself, familiarizing your mind with attitudes. So we have familiarized your mind with that attitude. Something is wrong with me, something is wrong with me, something is wrong with me. Since 20, 30 years. So now we have very strong neuronal connection telling us something is wrong with you. It's very easy to think that because we have done it so often. So now to start to look through that and weaken that and replace it with self-compassion, with self-kindness, with a friendliness towards who you are. That takes some time, and you will experience resistance. Yeah? Because it seems to be the truth that something is wrong with you. It seems to be so obvious. Yeah, something is wrong with me. Yeah. So it's to really connect with what is called in the Buddhist teachings Buddha nature, not as an idea but as an experience, to really connect with your inherent goodness, with your inherent beauty. That does not happen overnight. But it's worth it. You are worth it. You're really worth it. Also, you can come there also from an altruistic motivation by thinking, if I have the inspiration that my presence becomes healing, becomes liberating for others, then I need to do this work. I do it for others. I do it for my children. I do it for my partner. So there is different ways to approach that, and the theme of self-compassion. And one teacher I found helpful there is, her name is Christine Neff. She is a psychologist, and she did many years on research on self-compassion. And she describes 3 components of self-compassion. And so this weekend I would like to explore these 3 components of self-compassion. The emphasis on to experiment, to use to see what method can we use to connect with these three components of self-compassion. And the first component of self-compassion, in the way Christine Neff is describing self-compassion, is mindfulness. So there's a lot to say about mindfulness, but maybe for now, one aspect of this work, of this project of befriending yourself, is to become aware of the inner dialogue, the way you talk with yourself. And so sitting quietly, practicing mindfulness in daily life is the only way to tune in into your inner life. What is happening? With what kind of voices do you talk with yourself? What quality has this voice? To start to identify what you can maybe call the inner judge. If you use like a model where you talk about different sub-personalities. Yeah? So there is someone in your team, you hired him or her, and it's the inner judge. So that's really, as soon as you become aware of a habit, as soon as you become aware of what you're doing, there is already some release in that. Because what you become aware of, you de-energize. You take away some of it becomes more transparent. Yes, the inner judge will tell you every morning, you have failed in your life. But that's okay. The problem is that you believe it. So, in order to, start to cultivate a more critical attitude towards those crap. That is one gift of mindfulness, of introspection. I'm not my thoughts. And most of our thoughts, all our thoughts are inaccurate. All thoughts. But many of them are really, they should go immediately into the garbage bin. Just gone. Yeah. Rest in peace. And you can start to and a lot of these storylines about yourself, they are storylines. Your parents told them, your grandparents, they handed them down. And here you are, having the same kind of shit thoughts, like your parents, like your grandparents. And there's the garbage bin. Then one other aspect of this mindfulness component in the cultivation of self-compassion is that mindfulness helps you to lose your fear of your own feelings, of your emotions. It's like a practice of befriending what is arising, learning, trusting, starting to trust. Oh, I can have all my feelings. They are actually not poisoning. They are not dangerous. There's nothing wrong with them. There's also nothing wrong with me. There's nothing, no, the conclusion that because I have this feeling there's something wrong with me, it's stupid to think like that. We are human beings and we have feelings. There's nothing wrong with our feelings, and we will continue to have feelings. So mindfulness is a way to, many mindfulness practices is a way to learn to be with your feelings in a compassionate way, in a fearless way. I think I will, this weekend, I will use a word very often, and that is compassionate presence. That's all you need. Compassionate presence. This is what His Holiness reflects back to you. This is why He is in our life. He is like, the Tibetans see Him as an embodiment of compassionate presence. What is called Chenrezig in Tibetan. So if you want to make it very simple, like, all the words I'm making, and the compassionate presence. It's healing. It's like, there's nothing else to do. I don't need to find solutions. Maybe there is no solution to the situation right now, how it is. But compassionate presence, that space where everything can just be as it is. And it's not resignation, because that's also a compassionate presence, that's transformation. Transformation happens. So in the practice, when you practice some methods of mindfulness, of learning or daring to give space for how you feel. And part of that is actually daring to connect with your body, with your belly, with your heart. So what I also would like to do tomorrow and on Sunday is to do some body exercises from the Tibetan tradition, to connect with our body. It happens in the body. Compassionate presence is something which happens in the body. It's not something which happens in the conceptual level. That might be helpful, but it's something which happens literally on an energetical level in your body. And again, sometimes that can be challenging, because since we have not been encouraged in being with sadness or fear or confusion, so it can be challenging to shift. Is also a human being calling. So that's one part of, one component of self-compassion. And the second component of self-compassion is self-kindness. So self-kindness, gentleness with yourself, friendliness with yourself, taking care of yourself. And self-kindness also is connected with standing up for yourself, standing up for your needs, standing up for your boundaries, taking your space. Saying no. There is a nice story in the Pali Canon where the Buddha also had enemies, and one of his enemies was Devadatta, his cousin. And Devadatta was jealous, and so he did all kinds of stuff to harm the Buddha. And one day what he did, he made an elephant drunk. And then he made this elephant very angry. And then he sent the elephant off towards the Buddha. And the Buddha was just outside, sitting outside of the village, by the road, was sitting and meditating. And there he comes, the mad, drunk elephant. You can imagine. Maybe you have seen an angry elephant storming on television there. So the Buddha was sitting quietly meditating. The elephant coming. So what the Buddha did was stop. The protection mudra. Stop. And then the elephant was like, and then the Buddha did like this. And that is the mudra of generosity, the mudra of compassion, the mudra of protection. And then the elephant cracked down and wept. You can maybe see how behind aggression there's vulnerability and insecurity and fear. So that's like responding to what is behind the aggression, the compassion. But this is an important part of that practice. Stop. Yeah. And sometimes when we receive these teachings, we kind of prematurely think, and then we become nice. And that's not what we want. We don't want to be nice. What we want is kindness, not nice, being nice, out of fear, or out of, because, you should be nice, or now I'm a Buddhist and I'm nice, or something like that. Or because there's the fear of saying, this is what I need. Get out of my territory. Take the hands off me. And then there can be compassion. From that space. So that is stop. Very important story. Because sometimes we hear only this. Idiot compassion, Trungpa Rinpoche calls that. Also something we could explore this weekend. I'm not sure if there's time, but the idiot compassion. Compassion or niceness out of fear, or because we are supposed to, or you have been also nice as a little girl, and you just continue that. So, stop. So to say stop, to put your boundaries, to say no, it's part of self-kindness. It's part of taking care of yourself. And this is not like, the stop is not like a wall or, so we have different periods in our life. So this is flexible. Yeah? Sometimes the stop needs to be here, and sometimes it can be a little bit, less. Yeah? So it's not in stone. And this self-kindness is really something we can cultivate in sitting, in quietly sitting. I think probably that's the most important place where we can connect with self-kindness. To slow down, to be quiet with ourselves, and to meet and to breathe into whatever is arising. Thich Nhat Hanh has this beautiful expression of breathing, bathing your feelings into the breath, bathing your feelings with the breath. Yes. So it's like, yes, this is how I feel. Yes. This is how it is. Yes, this is how it is. Instead of, no, I shouldn't feel like this. So in sitting meditation, you cultivate that habit. It's like you can even use it like a kind of a mantra. Yes, this is how it is. Yes, this is how it is. It's opening. It's like, instead of no, resisting, struggling, it shouldn't be like this. Boom, boom, boom. It's my mistake. It's my fault. Yes, this is how it is. It's like putting down the weapon, stopping the war, the inner war with our experience. So self-kindness, like remothering ourselves. There are practices like Tara, they are so helpful there. To connect with the Great Mother, with the archetype of the Great Mother, which is an aspect of your own psyche. Yeah? But the Tara practice, they can help us to connect with that. To become the Great Mother for ourselves. This is a male-dominated compound. As most Tibetan Buddhist places. Monks and men.
There's a white star.
There's a white, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the white. A little bit in the back. So, yeah, maybe we could also do some Tara practice this weekend. So just to show you one way to connect with compassionate presence. Yes, so and then the third is common humanity. And I will say a few words about that, and then we have a break. So common humanity is the third of the three components of self-compassion. And what common humanity is, what is in the teachings of bodhicitta, what is called equanimity. Yeah? So it's a mind of connecting with a common ground, to connect with the kinship with everyone, to connect with the fact that we are not alone, that we share this, and that it is not personal. Your stress is not personal, it's something we share. And it's our job, it's our job to work and heal. And your personal stress is part of that, yeah, but it's part of the whole interconnectedness. It's not personal. It's not your mistake. That your life is not, running smoothly. It's not your mistake. It's not personal. You don't need to feel bad about it, or you don't need to feel I made wrong choices. I should have moved to Malmö. It's also difficult there. Yeah, sometimes we think like that. Oh, I should have studied this, I should have married that person. It does not matter. It's difficult. It's difficult everywhere, wherever you go. There is no escape. So in this common humanity is something which is when you go to lectures of His Holiness, like when he comes to the West, that's something where he almost always starts with. And it's something like this, when he says, we all want to be happy. And we all want to avoid suffering. So that's like, is that worth saying? But it is worth saying, because if you fill it a little bit with some more reflections. So what it says is, this sentence, we all want to be happy and we all want to avoid suffering, is we can look in each other's eyes and we know each other. There's no strangers. It's like, yeah, I want to be loved and I want to be respected and I want to reach out, and I have been wounded just like you. Just like you. It's like, and you can, that common ground, that kinship, you can go to an Aborigine in Australia and you look into his or her eyes and you can see, yeah, a human being with feelings, just like me. And just like me, you want to be loved. And just like me, the way you look at me, the way you treat me, the way you behave, it matters to me. It really matters to me, because I know that, because it's the same for me. The way I behave, the way I treat you matters to you. So that's common humanity. So in a nutshell, like to give you an idea of how to practice self-compassion in a moment, like in one moment practice is, so you have a feeling, fear, for example. So the mindfulness part is, this is how it is. this is how it feels. We will explore that a little bit more in detail, but so this is how it is. I'm afraid. The self-kindness part is, oh, may I be happy? May I be free of fear? And any kind of, that could be a gesture, that could be a mudra of that self-kindness. Or, instead of saying, oh, I shouldn't be afraid. No. Oh, you're afraid. Come on, I take care of you. And then common humanity is, it's like, okay, I'm not alone with this. Other people are afraid right now, everywhere. Okay, so let's have a self-compassionate break. So let's take the opportunity to just sit quietly for a few minutes to reconnect with the body and the breath. And it's a kind of sliding. It's not that there's a moment where you start to do something, kind of meditate or something. It's like a kind of sliding by filling the whole body with a gentle awareness. From the toes, the sole of your feet touching the ground. The top of your head, also the shoulders and the arms, the hands. And for a moment leaving the mental image of the body behind and staying with the energy, with the bare sensations, which are energy. There's a sense that the whole body is breathing. Our senses are open. And you discover that there's enough space for all your thoughts and all your feelings, all the sensations. There's enough space for all that, and still there's vastness. If you get carried away, if you get hooked by a storyline, That's not a problem. That's also happening in the present moment. But an option is to gently return to the body, to the breath, to the sounds. And to the stillness which arises when we sit quietly like this. Maybe it is possible for you to feel the compassionate radiance of the Buddha, the Dalai Lama, or maybe another person which can bring that quality into your heart. Like bathing in compassionate presence. Every cell of your body. The whole mandala of your life, even into your past, compassionate presence. It's fine. And breathing, welcoming. Maybe that's why you're here. Not to solve, not to get rid of, not to find explanations, but to love. To witness in a compassionate way. And you are not alone. Body, whole body breathing, whole body breathing kindness. Without any effort. It's like sitting in the sun. questions or comments to what I have said, some thoughts which came up. About self-compassion. Yeah.
I have a daughter, and I try to raise her as kindly as I can, but it's also sometimes important to stop her doing things, and then it sounds not so nice to say, yeah, this is not good, you cannot do like this. And then I don't want to give her the feeling, that she's sometimes wrong, but I notice sometimes she says, oh, yeah, Lily is very bad. I'm like, no, you are not bad, but you cannot do like this. But I notice she still feels like, I try to say, it's what you do, it's not you, but it's hard to give the right message. Do you have some thoughts about that? Do you have some ideas?
Maybe some of the mothers here have ideas about that. It is it's a challenge, but also it's such an opportunity for you to learn that, to learn to say no without rejecting the person.
I feel from my side I actually don't reject her.
Yes.
So, but I still notice she feels like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think as a mother you have some kind of special love. Even the child is not doing what you wanted.
Yeah.
The love is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really don't feel like, oh, I reject her.
No.
But I just think, sometimes she has to know, you cannot do some things because they can be dangerous or something.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I don't want to give her that feeling, but somehow I think I am, but I don't want. So
no.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts about that?
Well, I was just thinking the same thing when we have our daughter is similar age, and it's there's a lot of things that children need to learn, and it's easier for them if they learn certain ways of behaving because it's easier. It helps them, but still it's so difficult because you try to correct them, and she feels like you correct her, and then she feels that there's something wrong with her. So it's very difficult. And sometimes I can even feel that I want her to behave in a certain way to make me look like a good mother. Like I can, and that's because you want, that's a sort of a, if your child is behaving well, it's because of you, and if you don't help them in that respect, you're not a good parent. And so sometimes I can feel it's more about me also sometimes, but it's very difficult to.
And in Asia they seem to manage, because they are so strict, I think, but still the children feel very confident.
Yeah, that's a good that's a good observation. How can in a Tibetan culture, in a healthy Tibetan culture, how is it for the children there to grow up within the frame of Buddha nature? They are not all treated like little Rinpoches, but in a way they are, because they are seen by their parents or by the neighbors and things as having Buddha nature, being basically good, being basically pure.
But maybe it's more about the way one sees oneself more than how you do.
That's probably one thing. That's also a very good thought. So instead of looking for how can I solve this and how can I do it right, and instead working on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's
And
the
then-
best way to show the children how
Yes.
they love themselves.
Right.
If you love yourself.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad. Now I have an answer for that question. It will come. It will come again. I'm sure. Yeah, but there's probably more to your question. There's probably, yeah. Yeah, one could look into how Tibetans or how they raise their children. Maybe they have more space, the children. I don't know. I haven't observed a Tibetan family.
But we also only care about ourselves, our own problems. And as you said, we are trained to blame ourselves if we were children or our parents told us this is bad, and then you blame yourself all the time.
Yeah.
And that's also probably different from Tibetan tradition, how we also behave to ourselves, that we
Yeah.
only concentrate on
Yeah.
our problems, or what's around me, that's what we concentrate on, and that's how children become raised and trained also.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Doesn't solve the problem, but I think that's the reality.
Yeah, but that would be also going into that direction.
Yeah.
That the best way to contribute to this situation is to work with yourself. Yeah, and I think, I mean, I don't have children, but what I read is that children actually learn mainly through watching how you do it, how you live your life.
Yeah.
And that it is not so much what you say or what you want to correct. And so, and again, that would be, again, a support for the emphasis on finding your inner resources, finding ways to manage your own emotions and your own life. Oh yeah, that's a good motivation for inner work. Any other question I can't answer? Yeah.
I wonder if you can tell more about this thing of this is how it is, this feeling, or thought, or whatever it is. Maybe it's getting too complicated, but yeah, I feel like sometimes, is it like you're still labeling it in some way, but sometimes you think, this is how it is. I feel miserable, or I feel I'm angry, and maybe I'm afraid instead. So where to put this is how it is. Maybe it's not at all what I think it is. Maybe I should go investigate more about what is this is how it is. Or do you understand? Because sometimes it's so important to have this.
What happens?
Insights.
What happens if you hear this is how it is?
Just like that.
Hmm?
Just like that.
Yeah, this is how it is. How does it feel?
It feels, in a way, in a way, it's relieving, but
Yeah,
I have
isn't
to do
that
it
fun? Yeah.
60 times per minute. Otherwise it's coming back. But it's still, yeah.
So this is how it is, but it's, I don't know if that is coming with your question, but
Yeah.
it's true, this is how it is, and then if you investigate, like, this is how it is, what? What?
You mean like it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
yeah,
like, okay, this is how it is. This moment is, what is this?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so don't try to understand what I just say. So what I just did, I used that question like a koan. You know what a koan is? It's like, it's like you can, and that's what I've heard, that you were going into that direction. Like, yes, and if I investigate into this moment, and then it becomes transparent.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because you can't find anything.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, it's like so. But maybe sometimes I feel like you can get different directions or directives or instruction about how you sometimes you think, you know, thinking as you breathing and you just breathe or thinking or you just let go.
And then you don't know what to do.
But it doesn't matter maybe, but maybe I get confused if it's too many things. So I think this is like it is, or it let go, and still there is this basic thing. It's nothing. It's just this moment, and next moment maybe, and next. Then still it's confusing how to do it, keep it like contemplative and making you calm and focused. Yeah, I don't know. Who said it's easy?
You make it a little. Have you the tendency to make things more complicated than that?
Yeah. Yeah, I like thinking, and it's so stupid. It's a stupid thing to do.
No, it's just a habit. It's just, and there's, of course, you have this. You bring that. You have a clarity in that also. But it can be also confusing, particularly in an area where we are moving right now, it's where we are moving right now. It's something you can't really, put together into a solid box. And now I understood. And that's what you try, and that's very confusing. And
it can be like a hinder, becomes obstacle. It's good. And it's fine you.
So maybe one thing which can help you is to develop more trust in your own intuition, in your own. This is what makes sense to me, and this is how I will do it. This is how I will sit. This is how I will meditate. Like to develop your own style in it.
Yes. I'm still listening and learning, and taking it.
Yeah.
But this is the way for everyone. Maybe find your own style.
Yes. Yeah. It's and I'm just thinking about this quote. because in that confusion where you are or where you have been just a moment before, there can be also moments of, wow, it's like I'm doing that myself, and it's not necessary. I had a sense that you looked through your own confusion, and there was a moment of like, yeah, wow, I just drop it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is that
sometimes
true?
it's, yes.
Yeah.
To feel like a happy fool.
Yeah, yes, happy fool. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what I'm doing here, and it's meditation, I don't know where I'm going. Yeah, and then it's a happy fool. That's beautiful. Yeah,
Like,
so,
okay.
all these people who are so convinced that they know what meditation is and what mindfulness is, they are stupid. They have this conceptual framework and they can give lectures and wow, it's fantastic, and they don't know what they are talking about, really. So be a happy fool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, and this quote fits to that. It's for Dzogchen Pondab Rinpoche. He says, freedom can happen swiftly. One moment we are bound by something. The sum total of our life, our concepts about who we are, our position in the world, the force and weight of our relationship to people and places. We are caught in the fabric of all that. Yeah? So that's like, that happens. Like, completely stressed out, everything is heavy, and completely entangled in the stories. Yeah? Then, at another moment, it's gone. There's nothing obstructing us. We are free to walk out the door. In fact, our prison dissolves around us. And there's nothing to escape from. What has changed is our mind. The self that was caught, trapped, is freed the minute that the mind changes and perceives space instead of prison. If there's no prison, then there can be no prisoner. In fact, there never was a prison except in our mind, in the concepts that became the brick and mortar of our confinement. So freedom can happen swiftly. He starts this chapter. Freedom can happen swiftly. It's just like, you drop. Okay. I don't need to understand this. I don't need to figure this out.
been struggling with that Dharma should really help you change and live a better life and progress and all that. And then when you're at a point in your life when I don't feel that has happened, and maybe I don't see clearly, or maybe something has happened but I don't see it, or it's actually that it's not helping. It's not like, you know, that it feels like, oh, then I must be doing something wrong because I don't make that progress. And when you say all those very difficult feelings coming up, and then when I feel all that, it feels like I must be doing something wrong because I should be feeling better. I shouldn't be feeling this way. And then I lose trust in the Dharma because they're not helping me. And then and I have nowhere to turn or nothing to do. It's, how do you address that sort of those thoughts, really, that, oh, it should have been helping me, but it doesn't feel like it has.
So you think that it didn't help you because you still feel you still have a bad day?
Yeah, well, like a lot of very difficult emotions, and you say, oh, we are equipped to have difficult emotions, but then I feel that I should.
You feel they shouldn't be there.
Yeah, that I should be feeling better because now I've been practicing, and
so
I shouldn't be feeling this way.
And
then it makes me worse.
A sign for practitioner would be to have less bad days.
Yeah, but feeling better, more
feeling
happy,
better,
and all that.
Yeah.
And then I must be doing something wrong because it's not happening.
Yeah.
And then Dharma makes me feel worse because I'm this Dharma practitioner, and then I have all these difficult emotions. And it gives me a sense of hopelessness because then I have been practicing and it still feels like it hasn't helped me. And again, it's difficult to say whether it has or not, and what will come out of all these difficult things in the end and whatever. But it really triggers me when somebody says, "Oh, you should measure your Dharma practice," but telling that it has really helped you, and looking back and seeing how progress you've made, and then I have these days, and it feels like I have no progress whatsoever. I guess how to deal with those thoughts. That
they seem to be quite judgmental.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually an example of blaming yourself.
I should be feeling a lot better.
Be,
and I've probably been doing it all wrong because I don't feel better.
Yeah, and it's not it's actually the Dharma practice and meditation practice is not about feeling better.
No. What is it about then?
It's freeing ourselves of the need to feel good. It's like there is a small feeling better, which is the normal, feeling bad, feeling good, feeling bad, feeling good, and this will continue. But there is a big feeling good, which does not necessarily feel good. And that is like more to be more at ease with feeling bad. So then it goes like up and down. That's samsara. Welcome. It will continue like this. You can meditate for 20 years, you will still have bad days, you will still have crises, things will still fall apart. and life will continue to push you to your limits. Then, as a practitioner, you become maybe more at ease with it. And then maybe there can be also more and more a sense that the difficult periods in my life, they are actually, they are the rich periods in my life. Namasopa is better in that regard to talk about the joy of having problems. And I have at the moment I have a difficult situation in my life, and I just listened to a talk by Sika Khyentse Rinpoche a few days ago, where he said the sign of a practitioner in the Tibetan tradition is that you are happy when things go wrong. But I was so inspired by it, It's just like, and I lose it again, but it's like I remind myself, this is now, like the litmus test of having taken your seat as a practitioner is not if you feel good or if you are stressed or not. That's not the litmus test. The question is, how do you respond to that? How are you in those periods in your life when you feel it's too much? And then I think what is also a theme for you, and it has been, and is still a theme for me, is like, when things go wrong in my life, and I feel bad, and I feel stressed, then I feel like, who am I to sit here and talk to other people? And that is in a way, that can be. Then it's sometimes better not to be a practitioner, because then you just feel bad and you feel just stressed like everyone else, But then if you have this kind of image, like a self-image of how you should be, particularly if you are a therapist or you're a teacher or you teach mindfulness or meditation or something like this. But I think that's stupid to think like that. Sorry. Stupid. No, it's not like that. I can actually. Sometimes it's much better if I feel kind of, not on top of things. And then, I give a weekend course. Then in a period where it's fantastic, I think I got somewhere. So I think now, looking back 10 years, I did some progress, it's maybe much better to sit here with a broken heart, like everyone else, and feeling stressed and pain in the shoulders. And, okay, let's talk about mindfulness.
Last time I think you were here, so you said that don't make a problem out of a problem. And it really has helped me. And I've told
the quote is don't make out a don't make a problem out of the fact that you have problems.
Yeah, but I have written
Yes,
it down,
yeah.
yes, and it has helped
So
me.
there's nothing wrong with you because you have problems. There's something right with you.
It's normal.
That's the definition
Yeah.
of what it means to walk this path, to have problems. So then, if you as a teacher or as a therapist or as whatever, you take that pressure of that image you think you should present, if you take that off, then you can be an excellent broken-hearted therapist. Also, then you don't give this kind of advices which nobody can follow. It's hard. I mean, we make life so difficult for people by giving them advice.
Yes.
Because only they feel bad, then they also feel bad because they can't follow your advice. And that's like, these kind of teachers who are, and therapists or mindfulness teachers who think they need to present a certain image. And selling mindfulness as something, and then it's just a show, it's just facade. And then the other people, the audience, thinks it's their fault that it does not work. So there's nothing wrong with a stressed out mindfulness instructor.
But we also want to have response for our problems, our thoughts. We want to hear, and many people would like to hear recommendations. And they cannot live up to them, but they want to hear that, so someone helped them and told them what you should think or how you should do.
But then you have to learn not to fall into that trap.
Yeah, that's not so easy before.
Yeah, it's particularly easy if you want to keep the client.
No.
Because you're dependent on the money. Yeah, and sometimes it is just part of the work to this is an important step for a client to realize it. I have the resources in myself. I have the answers in myself. I don't need to look outside. But that's, of course, that might take some time to develop that trust. Yes, okay. That was also a good question. We can talk more about that. Thank you for coming. And see you tomorrow maybe. At 10 or you start at 10? Okay. Until 6 or 5?
5.
5, okay. Good.